Thank you for joining me on this Monday. Meteorologist Brian Shields. A major winter storm is going to be developing in the heart of the United States. That is going to press a front and freezing conditions down through the Gulf states, Gulf of Mexico, a big front, and even working the cooler weather into the Caribbean, the Bahamas. Big cool down coming for Bermuda. Huge changes and travel problems east coast of the United States. So let's get into that right now. This is Thursday. Here's your time frame. So looking ahead to show you what's next, this is where the storm system is going to be developing, right in the middle of the United States. So right through here, an area of low pressure, which is a storm system, that's going to develop, and a huge front is going to be along it, allowing just that cold air from Canada to rush down, and eventually this system will pinwheel its way up into eastern Canada. So let me show you that. Again, this is Thursday, and you see the system here starting to take shape. Now, let me move you out in time into Friday. As soon as Friday, it's really going to be taking shape at that point. So here it is. Now, near Chicago, you get over toward the Great Lakes, we're going to see an area of low pressure really develop. This is the parent storm system up here, but this has a major trailing front that will be with it. This front works its way all the way down into the Gulf, and you see the rain with it. This allows that colder air to sweep in. The green you're seeing here, that's the rain. The white you're seeing here, that would be the snow, just to give you a heads up so you can pick a spot on the map where you are. Again, this is Friday morning, 8 o'clock, big storm system developing as you get toward Boston, New York City, Washington, D.C. That's all rain. Then as we move forward, let me take you into later on Friday, and you see the system. Look at this front stretching back all the way into the Bahamas, Cuba, the Yucatan as you get toward Mexico and Belize. This rain here is the front. That's how far south this front is going to get. Still some rain as you work your way into New England, even some very heavy rain. That snow right on the edge of Scranton, Pennsylvania, then back toward the Great Lakes. I'll get into the snow totals in just a second, but point being, this huge front dipping all the way down into parts of the Caribbean, that allows that cold air just to rush down into the Gulf states. I'll also get to some of those freezing temperatures in just a second. This is by Saturday morning, and you see the heavier weather working its way up into Maine, eastern Canada, mainly rain along the coast. Inland, that's where the snow is going to be. So you see this front here all the way back through the Bahamas, and then clipping the northern sections, very close to the Cayman Islands, northwest sections of the Caribbean, back into Central America. That's where the front is, and you see some of that extra rain that will be left over as we get into Saturday and Sunday. Sunday, of course, being Christmas, this is by the time we get into Sunday afternoon, storm system starting to pull away. But again, the cold air in place, and look at some of that leftover rain that will be around in parts of the Caribbean, parts of the Gulf. And then again, all that cold air is going to be in place with that storm system offshore. By the time we get into Christmas, that front works its way through Bermuda and then continuing to pull away off to the east and back to the north. So this is a major winter storm. Now, as far as the snow totals go, looking at the United States, just thinking ahead, if you have any travel plans, this is through Saturday. This is the snow depth, and you see here, I'll take you through it, again, along the immediate east coast of the United States, mainly a rain event. It's going to be back toward our inland zones. You get back toward, say, Pennsylvania and into West Virginia. See the green there? This is in inches. That's anywhere from about 3 to 6 inches of snow. Snow depth, of course, higher by the Great Lakes, where it's going to be upwards of over a foot. But you see here, right along the east coast of the United States, mainly a rain event. It's going to be just inland, where there's going to be some heavier amounts of snow with this system. Big, complex system. Now, this is a map I don't typically show. It's got a ton of numbers on it. It's kind of a grid. So it shows these are temperatures in Fahrenheit. So you see here, for example, as you get over toward Belize, it says 69 degrees Friday morning. That's Fahrenheit. So you can see the scale over here. So you're looking at about 23 degrees Celsius. But let me just pull you forward. I put colors on this because there's a crazy amount of numbers. But this is the cold air that moves in. Looking into the Gulf states, look at these temperatures by Saturday morning, Christmas Eve morning. Temperatures in Louisiana, 13 degrees. We'll be right near 20 degrees. North Florida, as far as those temps go, you get back into Orlando, temperatures right around the freezing point. I'll be covering that later today on WFTV and Channel 9. Check out WFTV.com. You get back into the Bahamas, temperatures starting to fall, and then you get back toward Mexico, Belize, numbers in the 60s. Again, that's on the Fahrenheit scale. Saturday morning, dipping down into the mid-60s. It is going to be noticeably cooler. Then working our way into Christmas itself. This is Sunday morning, Christmas morning, and you see the cold air in place through the United States back into Mexico. higher terrain in spots, really dipping down, watching Guatemala, El Salvador, much chillier weather. And then you see some 60s popping up over toward Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico in the 60s Fahrenheit scale. As you work your way back into Belize, some mid 60s, much cooler weather is going to be working into the Caribbean. Let me show you that with the winds, and this will be important going forward. This is the wind tracker Friday morning, and you see the arrows. That's the direction of the winds. Look how far south that northerly flow goes, all the way into Mexico, clipping Belize. And this is just by Friday as that front moves in. Look at the Gulf states, that northerly flow that's with us, that allows all that cold air just to drive down all the way from Canada through the United States back into the Gulf and then back into the Caribbean. You see this here. Let me pull you on to time. This is as we get into Saturday morning. Look at the northerly wind, how far south that goes through Mexico, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua. We could have a northerly wind. Northerly winds by the time we get into Saturday. Cayman Islands, Jamaica, winds will be out of the north. Cuba, Bahamas, all those winds coming down out of the north, and that means cooler temperatures as we wake up on Christmas Eve morning. So that is Saturday morning with that rush of some of the winds out of the north. And bringing you into Christmas itself, I'll stop it here on Christmas morning. Northerly flow back through the Bahamas. Winds will even be edging out of the north in parts of Haiti, still in Jamaica. And look at that northeasterly flow there. The Christmas winds right on time. Christmas itself coming back into parts of Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia. We could have winds coming out of the northeast, even very close to the ABC Islands. So again, much cooler weather will be sliding in by our standards across the Caribbean and of course across the Gulf where freezing conditions are possible. Let me bring into the Caribbean short-term forecast today, tomorrow into Wednesday. Now for today, again, that front well up to the north with spotty showers, Belize, Honduras, and as I mentioned yesterday, Barbados, St. Lucia, could see a couple more, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, passing shower storm, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, but Guyana and Suriname, still some rain. We've had some drainage issues in Guyana and Suriname with the rain, still that possibility of some heavier rain. And you see the white shading here, that's the cloud cover, some overcast conditions in spots as we head forward into our Tuesday, that is tomorrow. Rain picks up a little bit in Belize, not a washout. Scattered showers through Nicaragua, scattered shower or storm in Jamaica, Puerto Rico, the same thing. We'll be watching that over toward Dominica, Guadeloupe for that chance of some spotty showers. Now, the seas are going to start to build some. We're running at about 2 meters in our southern sections of the Caribbean, closer to Panama and Colombia, just south of Jamaica. So 2 meters, that's a little bit over 6 feet. And then things are going to be building offshore very much so, over 3 meters, very close to Barbados. So you're looking at seas over 9 feet just offshore east side as you get into Barbados, even Trinidad and Tobago. Seas are going to be building, and then things just get flat out choppy as we get into the weekend, and that's because, again, that major front that will be diving down. So watching this major winter storm, huge temperature drop, especially through the Gulf of Mexico into the Caribbean. East Coast travel mess with either rain or snow. The snow will be inland. Freezing conditions very far south. Parts of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, freezing conditions, and it will be cold throughout parts of the Bahamas and even edging down toward Cuba. Cooler across the rest of the Caribbean as a whole, and I'll be monitoring those choppy seas. So clearly a busy week ahead. Keep me posted on what's going on where you are. Thank you for subscribing to this channel, taking the time to do that. Thank you for liking the video, and I hope you have a great day ahead.